Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Coach Andres with coachingwithandres.com. Ladies, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all your support, all your feedback, even the criticism. I love it. I welcome it. It's okay. I got thick skin. Bring it on. Today, I'm talking to George over here about my topics I have prepared, but I'm kind of trying to do things trying to tweak things a little more into a personal standpoint of things. It's all about relationships, of course. But we have so much material and content about things guys like, what turns them on, how to get them to chase you, all this things that we value and do. But at the end of the day, it's also something bigger than that. So before I go into what I have here, I want to talk about something else, actually. It just came up in my mind. And it has something to do with a client of mine that I've had a few sessions with. And it's interesting because she's very pretty. She's smart, successful, comes from a very established family, we'll say. And she has a lot of pressure from the culture and tradition to get married. And she doesn't want to get an arranged marriage. But she gets basically criticized that she's still single at a certain age. So she's become obsessed with men, obsessed with dating, obsessed with the attention, forcing the situation to a point where it's causing anxiety, depression. And it was interesting because she chose my coaching. She chose me because of not necessarily about my relationship point of view, because of what I've gone through in my life, what I've learned, how to recover. And as I mentioned before in my other videos and on my website, my, life-changing injury, again, my paralyzation from the neck down. Check out my website, coachingwithandres.com. And yes, I was paralyzed from the neck down 2.5 years ago, almost died. I had to relearn how to do everything all over again. That's what made me into a life and relationship coach. I was a coach for professional reasons and other things before that, but it now gravitated towards life and relationship because of what I went through. And she said, you went through the worst thing anyone can go through, but somehow you chose to help people during that. Why and how? I've never gone through anything like that, and I feel miserable in my life, lonely, anxious, and obsessed about men and marriage, and it's not working for me. Very interesting, right? I told her I have the answer, I have an explanation, I have the story. So I'd like to tell you what it is. It all goes to relationships. It all goes towards finding the right man. It all goes towards representing and projecting the right aura, energy of who you are. So it's not just like, my story. It's more about the message behind it that will translate into a healthy relationship, translate to attracting the right person for you. So it's just something deeper than that. So before we get started, what I would love for you to do, because I have a special offer for you, a special offer for anyone who's watching this video. We're going to celebrate Valentine's Day 365 days this year, not just one day. And by the time this video comes out, Valentine's Day already passed. So happy Valentine's Day to everybody, or belated. But if you're interested in a coaching session, leave a message and let me know that you're interested in it. And I will respond personally. And I'm going to offer you a special discounted rate on any of my 3 sessions for the rest of the year. If you leave a comment. All right? Leave a comment, special discounted rate for you, one time, any time of the year. And after you do that, hit that subscription because I want to make sure you're notified for future videos. I have a lot of content on what I'm going to talk about. I have a lot of content on tips for dating. I have a lot of content on how to attract the right relationship for you. And that's what I tell you as a coach. And I tell you, and I tell them, and I tell my clients, I tell everyone. You come to me with a relationship problem, I'm going to promise you personal success. And through that personal success, you'll get your answers. You'll get your clarity. You'll find who's right for you. And obviously, if you're already with somebody, you'll see how you inspire that person. So the story is she goes, my life is very comfortable. Money's not a problem. Okay. I just have a lot of pressure to get married. And again, my culture and traditions, very aggressive about that. So I'm just obsessed and fixated about that. That's all I hear. I'm like, okay. And I ask her, why did you choose me again? She goes, because you went through literally hell and somehow you're still optimistic about things, hopeful. You have a strong faith. Your mental strength is still keeping you going. You haven't put yourself down from it or for it. And I told her, well, I actually did do all that. I just had to eventually get out of that funk. Snap out of it, Andres. And I realized it was when the specific moment happened. And I'll never forget it. True story. You know how they always say, appreciate what you got because some people have it worse, right? And this has to do with relationships. And sometimes when you are not in the relationship you want to be in, or you're single, or you're trying to find that right person, you feel like your life isn't worthy. You feel like no one loves you. You feel like something's wrong with me. You feel like nothing's going right. And you put this cloud just from the dating point of life, just from men, the relationship world, and you basically cloud up the rest of your life that could be potentially sunshine and clear blue sky. And you just obsess over it, where it clouds your vision, it clouds your energy, it clouds your outlook, just because one element in your life isn't there yet. I've done that before, a while ago, a long time ago. I didn't like that. So it's very common. It happens to everyone. So she said, what was that moment to make you realize and appreciate where you're at through a very tough time? And I told her, well, after I do this, though, I'm going to have an assignment for you. And it has nothing to do with men. It has nothing to do with dating advice. It has nothing to do with the romance, love world that what I coach. And she was like, okay, I'm very interested. And I was like, but you're going to love it. You're going to love it. And you'll just see how that translates, unfolds to something for yourself. And who knows who you might meet. She was like, okay, I can't wait. Tell me the story. Tell me the story. True story. So I got discharged from the hospital after 30 days at the Broward Health North Hospital here in Broward County, Florida. And it was September 27th. And I just got wheeled out of my wheelchair. I was walking with a walker, and I needed help with everything. I couldn't move my arms yet fully. I could move barely my legs. I had my mom, my sister-in-law, my brother helping me get it dressed, help feed me, bathe me, literally. And eventually I was like on this mission to prove, because I had a lot of competitiveness in me and I was trying to prove I got this. I'm an athlete, bring it on. So I was never overwhelmed by the challenge. I was overwhelmed by the process of like, how long is this going to take? But I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up. This is not going to be who I am. And eventually things started waking up, my body, and I started eventually becoming more and more independent, able to get out of my own bed, able to walk by myself with a cane, not a walker, able to get in the shower by myself with the handicap chair and bathe myself, be able to slowly feed myself, slowly help myself get dressed. But the two toughest things I'll never forget, the two toughest things were putting on socks and putting on a shirt, because it took that coordination to get through the sleeves that I just didn't have. I didn't have the strength or the muscle to elevate my arms in that motion. Putting over my head, no problem. Shorts, no problem. And then the socks, because it was the fine motor skills to how to open up your thumbs that you don't realize how we take the smallest things for granted, but open up the sock with your thumbs and your pointing finger and then pull it into your feet. I couldn't move my fingers in that way. They were still closed up. So I had to like force them open. As you could see, my left hand is still slow. My right hand, right? Left hand. Still, 2.5 years later. Thank God I'm right-handed. I'm not gonna lie. If I was left-handed, I need a coach. Coach, I need someone. I'm not gonna lie. But thank God I'm right-handed. So I'm getting better, small wins leads to big results. Prepare for the journey, not the marathon. Make your message, turn a negative into a positive. All these quotes I live by. You got 3 choices in life: give up, give in, give your all. Anything is possible. But that one saying I kept on hearing is, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. And I was like, well, I don't know anyone who has it worse right now. Right now, at the time. Oh, how the things unfold in life. I'm not going to get too religious because I don't want to talk about sensitive topics to anyone. Let's just say something was sent to me in a very clear message. And it was the week of Christmas 2020. And I'm sitting in my kitchen. And I'm trying to wrap gifts that I ordered on Amazon because I can't walk out to the store. So I shopped every gift on Amazon for my family. And my mom is decorating the Christmas tree, got the Christmas carols in the background, the fireplace, screensaver on the TV. And I'm trying to coordinate this box with my hands, but my hands are still almost like lobster hands. They're just kind of just goofy, not coordinated, but I'm just trying to make things happen. And I can't get the paper together, almost like the socks, and I can't hold the paper lined up with my fingers, and I can't tape it. And so my mom looks over and she goes, "Do you need help? Hijo, do you need help?" And I was like, "No, I got this. I could do this." So I kept on trying for almost an hour and a half, and then eventually I can't do it, and I just slapped the table. And she was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just going to go upstairs and go to bed." So I go upstairs and I go to bed. Before I go to bed, though, I have my prayer. And I look at a picture of my dad. And it's my father who passed away when I was 17, my best friend, my role model, born on the same birthday, July 11th. So if you ever see 7-Eleven on my social media, if you ever see 7-Eleven, whatever I do, it's not the store. I do love the store, don't get me wrong. It's my birthday, July 11th. Lucky numbers, by the way, 7-Eleven. And I'm looking at his picture and I start crying and I start yelling at him and I start yelling at God. And I was like, excuse my French, what the fuck, what the F, what the hell is going on? Why did you do this to me? Why me? Why? I moved from LA to Florida to help mom. I moved to LA and left my work to help her with retirement, to help her with the house. And now she's taking care of me, wiping my own, feeding me, dressing me, a 37-year-old man, also during 2020. What the hell, man? And I'm yelling at the top of my lungs and crying and anger and frustration and freaking rage. And the last thing I said, everyone says it could have been worse. Show me effing worse. I went to bed. That was the Monday before Christmas. Tuesday morning, I got a message on my Instagram DM from one of my ICU nurses at the hospital. "Andres, we need you here at the hospital." I wake up. What, everything all right? Someone okay? Everyone's okay? "Yeah, baby Andres is here and he wants to meet you." "What do you mean, baby Andres?" "Just come on in if you can this week before Christmas. It would be great. He would love to see you before Christmas. I'll explain when you get here." Another young man had a very similar injury like you. And I wake up and I just look at my dad's picture and I just look to my ceiling. I was like, didn't I beg and ask for show me worse. What is this baby undress? I don't have a baby, so I know it's not my son. Not yet. So I was like, okay, I'll be there in 2 hours because it takes me that long to get ready and get there. And I asked my sister to pick me up, and I asked my sister to print out quotes that she put on my hospital room, my wall, that helped me stay in that positive mindset, to print out a couple for baby undress. I don't know who baby undress was. She's like, okay, sure. So she prints them out, picks me up, takes me to the hospital, and I walk into the hospital with my cane, and I go to the ICU, and the nurse comes up to me, and she goes, I'm glad you're here. You ready? And I'm like, what am I doing here? What do you want me to do? I want you to go in there into that room. There's a young man over there who had an injury last night, and he was terrified. And to calm him down, we told him your story, how you were in the same position, in the same bed, similar injury, but you walked out of here. And you walked out of here, and not only that, you've been helping others and coaching others. Just show him your story. Just tell him who you are, tell him what you've done, and tell him what you're going through. Because he needs that relatability to kind of get out of denial. And I was like, my goodness, I just yelled last night asking for a show me worse, and I'm about to go find worse with a face, a name. So I go towards the room, and I see the father of the room, the father of the son, baby undressed, running around yelling at doctors, pure rage and denial. The mother inside the hospital room, praying, crying, doing her rosary beads, one after the other. And I see baby undressed there. A 19-year-old Peruvian, and I'm Peruvian, young man, neck brace like me, tube in his throat, and just out of it, basically napping. And I just looked at my own self in the mirror, a 19-year-old virgin, Peruvian. And I'm in awe. And then he wakes up and he smiles and he tries to like move his shoulders to like kind of embrace me or welcome me. And I come in there and I just grab his arm and shake it. And I gave him the biggest 30, 45-minute speech about, you're going to be a fighter. You're going to do it. You can do it. I'm here for you. I'm your new sibling, spinal sibling. I got you. You're going to do it. And I give him everything, raw, real, power. And then I put the quotes on his wall, and I hug his mom, say goodbye to his dad, and I tell him we'll be in touch. I wish I could be making this stuff up, man. So I leave the room, and then the nurse comes up to me, and she was like, that was awesome. I was like, was that too much? And she was like, no, he needs that ass kicking. He needs that kick in the ass. And I was like, what was the diagnosis, though? You haven't told me yet. Oh, he's not walking again, she says. He's not walking again. I was like, what do you mean? That's what you said about me. No, there was a small chance, and for whatever reason, we don't know who or what, but you did. But he broke it. Yours was a deep contusion. He broke it. He's not walking again. I'll never forget the feeling when they say when your heart drops to your feet or like your gut falls to your toes, like all the weight just comes down and you're just kind of like planted where like your legs and your feet are like cement blocks and you're just like, oh. And I didn't know how to process this truth, how to accept it. And I'll never forget, I started like gazing towards the ceiling of the hospital lights and just kind of losing myself. And right as I'm doing this, my other nurse, Mary Lou, the ICU nurse who was there for me the night I came in, the night I was hysterical, she was praying and crying with me. She comes up to me and literally comes to my face as I'm like this, and she goes, snap out of it. And I was like, snap out of what? She goes, don't you dare do yourself what you're doing. And I was like, what am I doing? She goes, you're giving yourself survivor's guilt because you're walking. He's not going to walk, but you are. Don't you dare do that to yourself. I was like, that's exactly how I feel. It's very common, she says. Don't you do that. I knew you would be here for him. I knew when he came in last night, I knew you would come here this week and see him and tell him your story. You were chosen to walk again. He's not walking again. But I know you're to walk again because you're going to do something to help people and share your story with life, relationships, and everything else. I was like, all right. I was complaining about wrapping gifts. I was complaining about putting tape on Christmas wrapping paper. I was complaining how I couldn't tie ribbons for my Christmas gifts. How things hit you hard and put things in perspective. I told this story to my client, the one who's getting pressured and obsessed with men. And she goes, that was ridiculously powerful I don't know what to say. I was like, well, I did tell you I'm going to tell you that story, but I did tell you it comes with an assignment. And she's like, of course it does. You have a good life, you said. You're an attractive woman. You're smart, you're successful. You said clearly money isn't a problem. And you have a lot of pressure from your family, cultural, traditional situation. I respect that, of course. And you've come to a point where you don't even see the beauty of your life, the clear blue sky of what you got. And you're putting one cloud of men, love, and relationships, marriage, and you're making it just cloud over everything in your life. It's time for you to wake up. Someone has it worse than you. Actually, a lot of people have it worse than you. She's like, I think I know where this is going. Do you? What's the assignment? Stop dating for a while? No, I want you to continue to put yourself out there, but I want you to do something first before you go on your next date. And she's like, what's that? Charity. Find someone less fortunate and do some charity. Not the easy writing a check donation because you said money's not a problem. Labor. Do something. Wake up. You've been fixated and obsessed with men and dating, and you've admitted your family has a lot to do with it because of the pressure. They just want the best for you, but that's just all they know, so you can't take it to the heart so much, but you could do something to show them something different of who you are. And somewhere along the line, when you remove the pressure of dating men and marriage, and you realize more about what you have and how a lot of people have it worse, those are the times when the world opens up and gives you an amazing opportunity. Possibly somebody, someone, something. And you never know, and it's always when you least expect it. Almost like when you're angry and yelling at a picture or a ceiling or a sky, and they just send a message to you and wake you up and snap you out of it. So I told her, I want you to do anything. Labor. I'm not saying like hard labor. I'm saying something along the line outside of just a donation or a check. And I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about your experience. And I want to talk about how you feel on that. And I want to talk about who you meet there. Let's pause on the dating. Let's pause on the relationship. Let's pause on the marriage pressure, because you've been doing that to a point where you've made yourself depressed in your beautiful home and your ridiculously luxurious car and your highly equipped wardrobe and your closet with so many shoes, but you're still unhappy. Sounds like somebody who's complaining about wrapping Christmas gifts. It's very interesting, people, ladies. Sometimes when you get so obsessed and fixated about love, romance, and dating and men, you lose perspective of life. You lose your gratitude of what you have, your appreciation of who you are, what you've gone through. If you see yourself in that position, I want you to leave a comment. If you've been in that position, I want you to leave a comment, because we've all been there. We've all done it. And we'll probably do it again, unfortunately, but we probably will. I know I will. It's human nature. But the lesson is to not stay there for so long. I always say this: you can't control a bird to fly over your head, but you can control it from nesting in your mind. You can't control a bird flying over your head, but you can control it from nesting in your mind. We are going to make another mistake. We are going to take things for granted again. But don't stay in that position, in that funk, in that feeling, in that cloud for so long, letting it nesting in your mind. Snap out of it and go back to that source, that outlet, that charity, that labor, that somebody has it worse than me. Because I'm telling you, ladies, I know this is deep. It's the most attractive quality in a human being. It's the most attractive quality in a human being. I'm telling you, it's desirable. It's sexy. It's magnetic. You do that and just watch how you're enjoying your life more and who you attract. And guess what? He might be there. It's a win-win. You know, I've done a lot of relationship coaching videos about other specific tools, how to get men and dating and all these, tactics and tips. And I love that. But I want to try to change a little more of getting a little deeper into the relationship world of the relationship with yourself. That's why I became a coach, because I had to test the relationship within myself to see what I'm made of. Let me know what you think about this. Leave a comment. And I did tell you about a special discounted price. Leave a comment if you're interested in a coaching session, and I'm going to respond, and I'm going to offer you a special discounted price, a discount on my coaching session for the rest of the year, 2023. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for watching. My name is Coach Andres. See you soon.